Hello all, and welcome to the Parking Advisory Committee meeting of January 15th, 2025. Can we all please stand and salute the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please do a roll call of the members. Here.
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 We have a quorum. Approval, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of
So
October
moved.
6th? Thank you. Do I have a
Second.
second? A couple communications for tonight, some financial updates regarding the PBD fund. To date, we have $58,965.56 into this fund. There has been some monies allocated. There was roughly $9,700 allocated last meeting for wayfind and signage for the Broadway master plan. We do have some items tonight that will also be looking for allocations of funds through this account. And just for an EV station update, currently to date, we have $10,537.20, and that account is set up for maintenance, repairs, or additional stations throughout the city, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Julie?
That is correct. I'm sorry, I'm just going to get used to this new setup, but I wanted to give you an update. So it's actually, the EV account at the end of December had $12,452.80. So that includes December's, probably November and December's collections through the EV, the public charges, service fee that we tack on to people using our EV chargers.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have another member of our commission that just showed up. This will be his first time. Join us up here, Juan.
Sure.
Okay.
Welcome, Member Yaramillo.
And this is Juan David Jaramillo. He's going to be a representative from the Broadway Business District.
Awesome. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Do you have any comments while you join us this evening? All righty. Second communication, following our last meeting, Councilor Genzio was going to reach out to the City of Boston and City of Cambridge regarding some of their vendors for synthetic tree pits and see if they had any additional quotes or better quotes than what we received first time around.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I did reach out. There are very few vendors that do this, and unfortunately, the price point is quite high per square foot. In my opinion, we probably want to abandon this idea. I know the Roca crew, I spoke to the auditor. There might be some room to add additional manpower from the Roca crew to take care of these pits on a permanent basis throughout the year. And the money that would go into the synthetic surfacing, I think is a little bit, I was getting $15, $16 a square foot. It would be hundreds of dollars per tree pit. So that's my opinion.
Thank you for the update. You know, it is a little disappointing. We tried to do the best we could, really researched this for a long time. Unfortunate that it doesn't seem feasible. But that just kind of rolls into the third communication where we have been partnered up. We had a meeting with Roca the other day on how they can assist parking, both with some of our meter corridors and our off-street lots, how we can continue to beautify and maintain those through them, through their program to subsidize some of the DPW labor, as that crew is extremely busy each and every day. This meeting went quite successful. We're looking to bring them on starting April 1st and run them hopefully up until the first snow. Use some PBD funds based on whatever contract we are provided. That will be given to this committee following our next meeting, so you guys know what the cost is, what to expect, and what we may cover from this fund. But I think it's a good additive. I think it's a good addition to kind of what we've been trying to do. It's a step in the right direction, and I'm happy to take on any feedback that any members have. All right, no feedback at this time, so we're going to go on to our request. Our first request is a request for 6 planters for Shirley Ave. And on top of the 6 planters, we would have to cover the cost of 10 flower plantings overall. Shirley Ave, around the corner alley, has 4 planters I think Ira is working with. He's looking for an increase of 6 and needs flowers in all of them. I think Ira may have a price to provide us at this time.
I do not at this time, Mr. Chairman, but just so you know, this may only be temporary because they're starting a Shirley Ave Business Association. And once they get rolling, they're working on their 501c3 right now. So once they get rolling and they get some money in, so I may get them to try and help sponsor part of this and let them have a feeling of their own neighborhood, so what they're doing. So that's our plan for that for now.
So is a motion on the floor to table this item until, in case the business association can't fulfill this?
I would say yes.
Do I have a motion to table? Second?
Second.
Second item tonight is a request to allocate PBD funds to purchase meter pole sensors. One of the ongoing conversations is how can we better help out our business district, both between here and Shirley Ave, by making it easier to park for their short-term visitors, such as Uber Eats, quick pickups, to-go orders. One of the things that's been kicked around through a comprehensive parking study we put together and discussions here was implementing a 15-minute courtesy time for vehicles that are going to be pulling up to a parking meter, want to run in a store real quick, and maybe just be in and out and only need 15 minutes. The problem is our meters, there is no honor system with it. If it was implemented, there is no securities. Purchasing sensors for a very small segment of the meters to run this as a pilot program is what we're considering at this time. And the price per each unit is below you. So there are 2 different types of sensors that can be purchased for these meters. One being a pole sensor, mounts right onto the pole, and it can depict a car coming from the left or car coming from the right. I'm sorry, as the left spot or the right spot for a double metered post. Or a single meter, it would cover that one spot fine. Those cost $265 for a pole sensor. There's another sensor that sits on top of the meter, on the covering of the meter, and they call them dome sensors, with a camera right on the edge, each edge of that dome, to pick up that parking space. That is also another solution that can be added to our meters. Each cost is associated with it. The pole sensors are $265, the dome sensors are $295, and that is per meter. On top of these additives, we would need to consider also purchasing a BLE. It's a Bluetooth low admittance, and it attaches also to allow the communication from these sensors to the meters into my system. These are what would be needed to make sure that something like this program would be efficient and working in the right way. I do know that the CFO, the auditor, reached out asking us to table this item for tonight ahead of next meeting, as this is going to be run in conjunction with a meter rate increase as well as maybe additional meters through the corridor. Due to the simple fact that if we're going to be giving away certain revenues or not collecting on certain revenues, that needs to be compensated for in another area. I will take any questions at this time or any feedback from the committee on this.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Mr. Agencio first.
so my understanding is that these sensors, originally we were talking about you get out, you press a button, and it gives you 15 minutes. These sensors will now see the car pull in. You wouldn't necessitate pressing any button. It would give that car, as it pulls up, 15 minutes. That 15 minutes expires, and if the car doesn't move, then that car would be in violation. Is that the understanding?
That is correct, or unless additional coins were deposited at the end of that. And
Okay.
same concept is if the vehicle pulls away with 7 minutes remaining on a meter,
Okay.
the meter would then zero out.
Okay.
The next person to pull in would be then given 15 minutes themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Just 2 quick questions. First, would you need any additional signage? Would the signage have to change if this was implemented?
No, you can put, unless we wanted to notify this, but as people would park, walk up to a meter to deposit a coin, they would see they already have 15 minutes. We can run an ad campaign to advertise this throughout. We can display it on the meters themselves. I would be resistant to adding additional signage. I always because our quarter already has enough signs. I just think that would muddy it. I think we can get the message out in a different dynamic.
Awesome. And the other thing was the Bluetooth sensor. How does that communicate with the meter? I'm just,
So the
That's one
the
piece of
BLE is installed into the housing of the meter. So that way, as that sensor is picking up and reading, that communication is being delivered through that meter and through the back-end system.
Zach, I have a, I'd be willing myself to donate stickers or signs for the polls if you need it. I don't mind doing that, just to do the advertising. And I know all the businesses on Broadway, mostly, which are all my friends, and we are together on this. I know they all will be able to have some type of advertising on the windows or the door, whatever you come in, because that's a big, big concern for all our clients.
Absolutely, and I appreciate
Yeah.
your assistance in that. Thank you
I
very
don't
much.
mind. Yeah. It's gonna be a few for now, right? Because you're just gonna do a pilot program?
So the idea is this item was brought up to present the funds and how much it would cost to say we're going to purchase 30 meters.
And then have you ever considering to change the meters? Like it's the meters for a newer version of meters, or one of those that is a pole and you just put your plate number and then you put a sticker on the door like they do in other towns?
So that's a different topic of a conversation, but I'd love to talk to you outside of this. I just want to, right now, stay on the dome sensors or
The
the
dome
pole
sensors
sensors
for
for
now,
now,
yeah.
for the 15-minute courtesy time.
Yes.
But yeah, along the way with this, if the city is going to be looking to give some type of courtesy time where we're not collecting revenue on that, we would need to find a way to balance that offset.
yeah.
As the meter revenue goes into a separate account for my department, I pay 3 employees out of that, as well as the overhead for the general parking department, so we don't touch the tax dollar
Yeah,
or the appropriated account in the general fund. So we just want to make sure that we're not, by making this change, we're not putting any additional pressure on the taxpayer, and we're trying to balance it all.
Yeah,
So-
because in the study we made, and I'm sorry to interrupt, the study we made, everybody's concern was about, like, you get off your car, you get inside to pick up something, and you got a ticket immediately. So it was some sort of, people call it harassment kind of, because, you know, sometimes the food is not ready when you are called to pick up immediately, so you don't have just 1 minute. You need a couple of minutes. And you come out, you come here to buy a $10 meal or $12 meal, and then you find a ticket that is $20, or you ended up paying more. So that was the biggest concern about all the clients for lunchtime mostly. Additionally, with the food trucks that we had already moved from the area. But there's a concern here, and it's not only here, it's also on Shirley Ave. We have a lot of complaints about people unloading the food for the restaurant, even with commercial plates, and they get tickets. So that's why we asked for this and we offered the solution.
Absolutely, and I love that we have now, this committee was made, this is the second year we've been here. This is the first time we've actually had a business owner from either corridor. Your perspective means a lot to this committee, which is why we have you here. The last thing this committee is in charge of with this PBD revenue to find better ways to beautify our meter corridors where our business districts are, to find a better way to promote e-commerce and help the small business owner in that area, not hurt them. And this meter sensor is just one more step in that direction. We just want to make sure we do it the right way and
That's
don't
it.
muddy anything.
Yeah,
But this is a goal of ours as a group, I believe, here. And this is something that we are very focused on, as well as making sure that the area is beautiful. And people want to visit it. People want to spend time there and not have a hardship of it. Absolutely.
That's great.
Thank you for taking the time to
thank you,
share
sir.
perspective, and I'm glad you were able to join our team.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
So at this moment in time, I think unless anyone else has any additional questions, the request is to table this item for our following meeting scheduled, I believe, for April 16th, around then. Do I have a motion to table this until the next meeting? Tabled, thank you. Our final item of request for tonight is a request to allocate PBD funds for wooden carved signage for Costa Park. I think the request is for 2 signs, and each sign is approximately $1,500 each. Ira?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we spoke about this last year, And I thought we had approved it. I didn't know it was still pending. But, yeah, the last quote I had was around $1,500 per one. And we have a new member here that was going to give us a quote for it, too. So, but we'll get 3 quotes and be able to work it out.
Awesome. Just let
Thank
us
you.
know. Once you get the quote, send it over, and we'll be able to open the requisition for you.
Roger that, thank you.
So now this goes to committee. I'm not sure, I know this came up a couple times. I wasn't sure if it was tabled for a few meetings that Ira missed. Maybe, I know he had some medical concerns last year that he was addressing. So just for technicality purposes, can we take up a vote on this again?
Mr. Chairman, is this for one sign or two?
2 signs,
So it's
so,
$3,000?
correct.
Okay. I make a motion to approve $3,000 for the signage for Costa Park.
Second?
So ordered.
Thank you.
I do see we have a member here of the public. I'm not sure if you have any public input you would like to put in for tonight, or any of the items that came up before you.
He,
Name and address for the record, please.
Push the button,
Push the
on
button.
the mic. The one that says on.
can I make a reference before he starts speaking? I just want to make a reference. He's the person who found about the 15 minutes on Arlington, which was the model we are using.
Yes.
And we've been discussing a lot about it,
Awesome.
yeah.
It's Hal Abrams, 169 Winthrop Parkway, Revere, Mass, Beachmont. And I was glad to attend and help out a number of the business people that were at Juan's Restaurant. And a lot of the Broadway people came there because business, as they know, is going to change very shortly. Whatever happens in Beachmont, at Suffolk Downs, and whatever's happening elsewhere, businesses, and as far as getting patrons, don't want to come in where they're going to come in, grab something, and then get whacked with a ticket. It happens to all of us somewhere or another, and it's no fault of anyone, but people try to rush, and that's what happens. That's the nature of the game. So we happen to see this in other communities, and one of them was Arlington. And Arlington was in the process of changing their meters, but all it was, I know you want to put signs on it, which is very good because you have to explain it, and you do have all our signs on Broadway, and you want to keep it beautiful. It's turning out really nice. But the meter is explained. There's a green button there. You press the green button, so you get an additional 15 minutes. So just say that you put a quarter in and you get 30 minutes. You don't get 45 because of the free 15. It's still 30 if you want to put the quarter, or if you want to take the chance that you're going to do it within 15 minutes, you press the green button, you do your business, get back in the car, and off you go. So I understand that it is getting costly, but I was just wondering, is this the price tag that other communities are paying for? Is it almost like $500 per one stand?
Correct. So the other comparable city was Malden. Along Pleasant Street, they have this exact system with the IPS meters and the IPS dome sensors, and they're experiencing the same thing. So they provide 15 minutes of courtesy time to their corridor, similar to how Arlington does and similar to how we're looking to do in our business
And they all
district.
buy from the same supplier?
Arlington uses a different type of meter, but Malden uses the same one as we do.
Because I remember trying to get some information from Arlington when I was working there, and I thought it was a lot less. So I'm not sure if they have a different supplier, but, you know, maybe, if I know you're very busy, but if Malden is probably the newer one because they just did a renovation in that whole block where the city hall used to be. And Arlington is still kind of, I'd say it's probably been there at least over 10 years.
It has.
So I know they're going to change out their meters because they're kind of worn out, some of them.
So just a point of information, when this all came about, I took a visit to Arlington. I met with their parking department, which is run through the tax collector office, as well as the police officer who maintains the enforcement part of it. So what happened was Arlington, yes, promoted this 12 years ago. In the past 2 years, Arlington changed their meter to a McKay-style meter. A little bit different, and it doesn't work as well. Our meters are a lot better, just to be straight. But So when they implemented this, the button that was turning this 15 minutes on wasn't working appropriately. So when this made it into the paper regarding Arlington parking in 15 minutes, it was meant to be a smear campaign against the city of Arlington that the feature they were offering was not working appropriately. That's why following that, there was a news article, and there was about a 30-second skit where one of the parking control officers was seen giving a step-by-step guide on how to activate that 15-minute button because the new meters made it a little bit difficult. So they use a little bit different style meter, but their traffic or their visitor is not the same amount as we see here. And I'm not sure what they do with their parking revenue or the type of level of employment they have where they were able to kind of combat this without sensors. So Arlington does not use sensors. They just, the button is just being able to press and activate.
It's a lot on an honor system in Arlington, I thought.
That is correct, exactly how it is. It's an honor system in Arlington.
Well, the pilot program will tell an awful lot. Maybe just to get it off the ground, you can pick out an area, and I think it's a great suggestion that you do a pilot program, whatever area you want to do it in.
I agree. And I think we should pick a handful of meters on Broadway and Shirley Ave and test this out and see how it goes. I just think we all have to be conscientious of the revenue loss that we may face. To be able to predict how much is hard without running the program, but also I think there should be a conversation on how to make that back up should it be a big loss.
I think Ira had brought up something earlier, is that the 15 minutes wouldn't be 24 hours a day. It's a time, in a timely basis, usually when the stores or the retail, whatever businesses open up, it's probably like a time period for the 15 minutes.
Okay.
So it's usually, what, 8 to 3, 8 to 4, 8 to 5, whatever the hours are. So it doesn't go on 24 hours a day.
Well, I think the one thing that might be a bit unique here versus Arlington is we don't actually have loading zones. So all of our metered spots are our loading zones, and that's something we need to fix in our signing, that it's a little bit signage to make it a little bit clearer, because you can park for 20 minutes in a metered spot. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman.
That is
and we don't have any real effective mechanism for both having signage to show that, but also this tool could help effectuate that change to make it a little bit easier for people loading. So you have
15-minute loading zone?
right. So we would have to change our ordinance as well to go from 20-minute to 15 to align with this. But I think if we had a little bit better signage, we could solve for some of the loading challenges we have along Broadway, where folks will just park in one or multiple spots and start unloading because they don't know where to. And here with this pilot project, we could better direct it in
Very good
certain
suggestion.
locations.
I know some communities, they do loading, they want loading early in the morning. And they usually have people that are cleaning up, and they open up, and you do it before the traffic really starts. They do it from 6 to 8, usually not near a residential area. So a lot of communities have gone to early zoning, early loading zone times. So, but this sounds like a pretty good idea.
We appreciate that feedback. One of the hardest parts about trying to do an earlier time for us is the southbound bus lane, where a lot of our business establishments are on that southbound. We'd be forcing
We got
delivery
one of those
drivers.
tickets,
We'd be forcing
but I
delivery
was
drivers
told
to
the bus
cross
wasn't
the
running,
roadway.
but I still got the ticket.
Oh, Mr. Abrams, I appreciate your time. I
Well, thank
appreciate
you very
all the
much. Nice to
feedback
meet
you've
you
been able to
all.
provide.
Okay.
Thank you for spearheading this change for the better of the e-commerce of the city.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question now. It just came to, about revenue. Do you get an accounting of revenue per meter?
Yes.
So if we do a pilot program and we're taking in X amount of dollars per meter, you can see how this 15-minute thing affects that, to what degree that would affect it.
Correct.
Oh, that's all, excellent. Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions?
Yes, I do. When you think the pilot program is going to start?
Right now, with everything timing up, it's looking like April. Yes.
Because I know a lot of people is going to be really happy about that.
We're hoping to get this launched right as the spring and summer turn around, and we know we're going to have an influx of visitors and travel and tourism to the city.
Okay, I hope the difference in revenue is not going to be that high, because you also have the people walking up and down, so Sometimes you have the 15 or 20 minutes there regardless, without putting a coin. If you see the guy passing right, like if you see him passing, you park right there, he's gonna come back in about 20. So you have pretty much about the same.
Monitoring the habits of the park control officers, huh? Timing them up.
But now
He's
it's
a
gonna
little
be
slower
legal.
walker, it's all right, he walks a little
You follow him. So no, but that's a meaning, that might be, I don't think you're gonna see a big difference in it. because
Absolutely.
Still people takes,
And as the director of the parking department, it's never our goal to hurt our residents or our business owners or the customers for those establishments. You know, we are provided rules and regulations to enforce, and that's all we end up trying to do. But we always are looking for creative ways to better help our community and work within our community.
Yeah.
And forming a group like this will continue to put the parking department in the right direction and make sure the residents and the business owners are looked at first.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate everyone's thoughtfulness tonight and everyone's feedback on this item. And at this moment in time, I'd be looking for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all. See you in April. Hello.